Right after you. So the first thing I want to introduce, so we have our four out, and we have our baseline, we'd always be on the opposite side. So why don't we just take the baseline, opposite of the where the ball is. Okay, he's going to be on the opposite block at all times. First thing I want to introduce is the term gaps. A gap is the space between player here and here. So this is one gap. If we go from Nate to Zach, how many gaps are there? Colton? 2. If we go from Nate to Landon, how many gaps, Ashton? No, 1's to Lucas.
2.
Oh, sorry, no, that's my fault. Sorry, Zach to Landon, how many gaps are there? 3. When we drive to the net, do you think we want to drive in one gap situations? Or do you think it would be really good if we could drive where we have 2 gaps, where there's lots of space to involve in the net? 2 gaps, even 3 gaps we can see. There's lots of ways to create gaps. So let's get back to our options. So we bring the ball on the board. I can do for a second. So we have a couple of options. One option is to dribble a handoff. So I'm going to dribble over to Zach here, and you're going to hold your spot, and I want to show you why we would do this. So if I dribble to Zach, I'm dribbling at the defender, and hold. Zach's going to come and stop. Notice the space now between Zach and the closest offensive player. Do we have 1 gap or do we have 2?
2.
Is that a good chance to drive to the net?
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's look at another scenario. What else do we do when we bring the ball up? We have a dribble handoff. What's a new one I can use this year? Yep, quarterback laterals of football, right? So in this case, point guard's going to dribble here. You're going to hold until he stops. And when he stops, he's coming through and hold. He's still here. How many gaps are there between him and the next offensive player, Bill? Well, no, because there's only 1 if he's all the way over at this marker. 2. So he still has this gap, and then he has his next. Is this a good chance to drive to the net?
Yes.
Absolutely. Ball back here. Back to your spot. So that's why we do that at the beginning, because we're creating space, and we're dribbling into that space. We want to attack that space. One more we've been talking about. Another entry into offense is a basic pass. So if I make a pass to Zach, what do I have to do? Right? Rule is anytime you pass, you've got to cut. You're watching me, hold, till I get underneath the net and stop. From here, we know I have to clear out. And Lucas, just go to the side so they can see the space that's been created here. How many gaps are there now between Zach and Nate? 2 gaps. So what did Zach do right now? Got it. Smart kid. He can either drive to the net because he's got 2 gaps, or if he doesn't drive to the net right away, he can pass to who? David who's filling, and who's filling, and go ahead and make a pass, and stop. Then we're back to our original spots. So, can I see that ball? Go back to your originals, guys. When we make that pass, Zach can drive. Can he drive right away when I start running?
No.
Because he's going to run into the defense. When would he have to learn to drive to the net there, Colton?
When you stop, when you clear.
When I clear, right? So when I'm underneath the net, right about here, now he's got the space to drive. Question, if he starts driving, and we know Nate's supposed to come over when I get here, let's say Zach starts to drive, go ahead and hold. Is Nate going to bring his defender in here?
No.
He can either stay in his spot, or if Zach's already all the way down, then he can go on. So that would be fine in that spot. Okay, back to our original spots. Does everyone understand that? When do we want to drive? How many gaps?
2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3. And we'll talk about driving the 1 another day, which we still can do, but we're working on getting into this space. General rules of our offense. You got to memorize these. I'm going to I drive to the net and Harmony steps in, who's open? And that's a great move, but for now I'm just going to have you out just to teach you this one spot. Zach's going to be open. Rule number 2. Anytime you pass when you're inside the 3, you must clear out. Okay? So as soon as I pass here, I want to clear, and if we can, just go to the same side as the person you passed to. Okay? So I've now created space, and what have I created for Zach? You get back out on him. A double gap. So what exactly when I pass to him? Cut. So let's get everyone in position. Why don't you go off for a second? Or sorry, the pencil's off. So rule 1, when you pass outside the 3, you must pass a cut. Rule 2, anytime you pass inside the 3, you must clear out. So if I drive here, here's an example. I'm inside the 3, defense is picking me up. I want to make a pass here, say. So what corner is an idea for me to run to? The same corner when you're inside the 3. So I can run here and roll. Rule. If you receive a pass outside the 3 from someone who's driving to the net, you have to take the ball to the net, which is fun, right? Catch it and go. And that will be open if I have left cleared out, so he can go and attack the net. Okay? So, rules for receiving the pass. Anytime you receive the pass from someone who's driving, what do you have to do? Drive to the net. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, we have 2 rules for passing, and then there's 2 rules for receiving. We know this one. If you drive and you receive a pass from someone driving, you must drive this. Second one, if you receive a pass from someone outside the 3-point line who's not driving, you must see the cutter, nope, not yet, and either pass the cutter, drive, or pass to your friend. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
2 general things to think of. How many people should be inside the 3-point line? 2. Never more than 2, except a few situations that I'm not going to worry about right now. So 2 people inside the 3. My other point I want to worry about, see this key? This middle area, all the way up to this 3-point line. This, guys, is quicksand. The only way you can enter the quicksand is on the rebound or if you're driving to the net. The last thing I want to see, and if you go here, Lucas, you can go back in here, is this. Let's just say Landon, instead of staying wide, runs in here. And Lucas has made his pass to Zach, and Lucas cut through. Does Zach still have a double gap now?